I said I love you to my son every day for 30 years, and he still does not talk to me. My name is Walter. I am 78 years old, and I am going to tell you why those 3 words mean almost nothing if you say them wrong. I know that sounds harsh. I know it sounds like I am telling you not to love your family. That is not what I am saying. I am saying that I love you can become the laziest thing a man ever says. I am saying it can become a way to avoid the words that actually matter. I'm saying I used it as a shield for 40 years, and it cost me my son. Let me explain. I grew up in a house where nobody said I love you. My father never said it. Not once. He showed up. He worked. He put food on the table. But those words never came out of his mouth. I do not think he knew how. I do not think his father knew how either. He was not a bad man. He was just silent. He came home from the plant. He ate dinner. He sat in his chair. He went to bed. He did this for 40 years. I do not remember a single conversation about how I was doing, what I was feeling, what I wanted from life. He provided. That was the job. That was the whole job. When he died, I remember standing at his grave thinking, I never heard him say it. Not to me, not to my mother, not to anyone. And I wondered if he ever wanted to. I wondered if the words were stuck somewhere inside him, buried under all that silence. I swore I would be different. I swore my son would never stand at my grave and wonder. When my son Michael was born in 1974, I made a promise to myself. I would say it every day. I would not be my father. I would make sure my boy knew he was loved, and I did. I said it every morning when he left for school. I said it every night before bed. I said it when I dropped him off at college. I said it at the end of every phone call for 30 years. Love you, son. I said it so often it became automatic, like saying goodbye or take care, just something you say at the end. A reflex, a habit. I thought I was doing it right. I thought I was being the father I never was. I was wrong. Here is what I did not say. I never said, I am proud of you. Not once. I thought it. I felt it. When he graduated high school, when he got into college, when he landed his first job, I was proud. But I never said those words. I said, love you, son. I thought that covered it. I never said, you were right. When we argued, and we argued plenty, I never backed down, even when I knew he had a point, even when I knew I was being stubborn. A man does not admit he is wrong. That is what I believed. So I held my ground, and then at the end of the argument I said, love you, son. Like that made it even. I never said, I am sorry. When I missed his championship game because of a work trip, when I forgot to call on his birthday one year, when I said things in anger that I should not have said, I never apologized. I just waited for it to blow over, and then I said, love you, son. Like that erased it. I never said, tell me more. When he tried to talk to me about his life, his problems, his dreams, I gave advice. I fixed things. I told him what to do. I never just listened. I never said, I want to understand. Keep talking. I said, love you, son. And I moved on. I never said, I see how hard you're working. When he was struggling in his 20s, trying to build a career, trying to figure out who he was, I never acknowledged it. I compared him to myself at his age. I told him what I had accomplished by then. I never just said, I see you. I know it is hard. You're doing fine. I never said, you matter to me. Not those words. Not like that. I assumed he knew. I assumed I love you covered it. I assumed a man does not need to hear that he matters to his father. I assumed wrong. Michael stopped calling around 2015. It happened slowly. The calls got shorter, then less frequent. Then they just stopped. At first, I did not think much of it. He was busy, he had his own life, he had a wife, a job, responsibilities. That is how it goes. Sons grow up. They move on. They do not need their fathers the way they used to. That is what I told myself. Then I called him on his birthday. It went to voicemail. I left a message. Happy birthday, son. Love you. He did not call back. I called again a week later. Voicemail. Just checking in. Love you. Nothing. A month went by. Then 2. I started to feel something I had never felt before. I did not have a word for it then. I do now. It was the feeling of a door closing that I did not know was open. I called his wife. She was polite but short. She said Michael needed some space. She said he would reach out when he was ready. She did not say why. She did not have to. I did not understand. I had said I love you every single day. How could he need space from that? I wrote him a letter. 3 pages. I told him I did not understand what had happened. I told him I had always been there for him. I told him I loved him. He wrote back 1 page, and that letter broke something in me. He said, "Dad, you said I love you 1,000 times, but you never once said you were proud of me. You never admitted you were wrong. You never apologized for anything. You never asked about my life and actually listened to the answer. You said the words, but you never showed me what they meant." He said, "I do not doubt that you love me. I doubt that you know me." I sat in my truck for an hour after I read that. I could not move. I could not think. I just sat there, holding that letter, reading it over and over. He was right. Every word he wrote was true. I had said the words. I had said them more than any father I knew. But I had never done the work behind the words. I had never made them mean anything. I thought saying, "I love you," made me a good father. It did not. It just made me a father who said, "I love you." Those are not the same thing. I had said "I love you" like it was a magic spell, like the words themselves did the work, like I could say them and be done, without ever having to do the harder thing. The harder thing is being specific. The harder thing is saying, "I am proud of the man you have become," because that means you have been paying attention. That means you have been watching. That means you see him as a person, not just as your son. The harder thing is saying, "I was wrong and I am sorry," because that means you are not hiding behind your pride. That means you are admitting you are not perfect. That means you are treating him like an equal. The harder thing is saying, "Tell me what is going on. I want to understand." Because that means you have to shut up and listen. You have to stop fixing. You have to sit in the discomfort of not having the answer. The harder thing is saying, "I see how hard you are trying." Because that means you're paying attention to his struggle, not comparing it to your own. The harder thing is saying, "You matter to me, not because you are my son, because of who you are." Because that means you have to look at him and actually see him. "I love you" is easy. It is 3 words. You can say it in your sleep. You can say it on your way out the door. You can say it without even thinking about it. That is the problem. Love is not a thing you say. It is a thing you show, and you show it by being specific, by noticing, by naming what you see. I am 78 years old. I have not spoken to my son in almost 10 years. I have written him letters. I have left voicemails. I have said I'm sorry more times than I can count. I have said all the things I should have said 30 years ago. He has not responded. I do not know if he reads the letters. I do not know if he listens to the voicemails. I do not know if he has forgiven me or if he ever will. I do not know if I will ever hear his voice again. I have a grandson I have never met. He's 7 years old. Michael sent a photo once, years ago, before everything went silent. I keep it on my nightstand. I look at it every morning. A boy I have never held, wearing a baseball cap, smiling at a camera. I do not tell you this for pity. I tell you this so you understand the cost. Maybe Michael will call someday. Maybe he will not. I cannot control that. I can only control what I do now. But here is what I need you to hear. If you have a son, or a daughter, or a wife, or anyone in your life who matters to you, stop saying "I love you," like it is a period at the end of a sentence. Stop using it as a shortcut. Stop assuming it covers everything. It does not. Say the specific thing. Say the thing that takes courage. Say the thing that shows you have been paying attention. Tell your son you are proud of him, not because he achieved something, because of who he is. Use those words. "I am proud of you." Tell your wife you were wrong. The argument from last week, the one from 10 years ago that you never resolved. Go back to it. Say, "I was wrong. I am sorry." Tell your daughter you see how hard she's working. Notice the weight she's carrying. Name it. "I see you. I know it is not easy. You're doing better than you think." Ask your kids about their lives, and when they answer, do not interrupt. Do not fix. Do not compare. Just listen. And then say, "Tell me more." Tell the people you love that they matter to you. Say it like that. "You matter to me." Not because of what they do for you, not because of obligation, because of who they are. These are the words that land. These are the words that people remember. These are the words I never said. I love you is not wrong. It is just not enough. Love is a house. I love you is the foundation, but you cannot live in a foundation. You have to build the rooms. You have to fill them with something. The specific words are the rooms, the pride, the apologies, the attention, the listening. I built a foundation and thought I was done. I never built the rooms, and now my son lives somewhere else. If I could sit across from Michael today, here is what I would say. I would say, I am proud of you, not for what you have done, for who you are, for the man you became despite me, not because of me. I would say, I was wrong about so many things, about what mattered, about what you needed, about what a father is supposed to be. I would say, I am sorry for the games I missed, for the advice I gave when you just needed me to listen, for every time I made you feel like you were not enough. I would say, you matter to me, not because you are my son, because you are Michael, and I should have seen you more clearly. I would say all of that before I said I love you, because those words would make I love you mean something. I cannot get those years back. I cannot unsay the things I said or unsay the silence where words should have been. All I can do is tell you what I learned. Stop saying I love you on autopilot. Start saying the things that take courage. Your family does not need to hear that you love them. They need to hear that you see them. They need to hear that you are proud of them. They need to hear that you are sorry. They need to hear that they matter. Those are the words that stay. Leave a comment below. Tell me. What is the one thing you have never said to someone you love? The specific thing. The hard thing. Hit subscribe. There is more I need to tell you while I still can. Share this with a father who needs to hear it. Maybe your own. Maybe your brother. Maybe yourself 10 years from now. Say the real thing. Say the hard thing. Say it now. Anyone can say, I love you. Mean it.